What's going on, guys? Blazing here, and today we got another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we're going to be talking about Fire Knight, and more specific, we're going to be talking about Fire Knight hard mode, right? They gave us a little bit of a teaser in the what's next, and now are letting us know that we are going to have some interesting mechanics put in place, right? We're not going to be able to decrease his turn meter anymore with Allure or Cold Heart. We're going to have to rely on Freeze. And so I figured it'd be a good idea to go through and see who actually has Freeze on the A1. And a lot of you might be surprised at some of these champions that you might find yourself building. So let's get into it. I feel ally attack is going to be the biggest thing. And the reason why I wanted to go through the A1 is because you want to be able to decrease as much of the turn meter as possible with this new Fire Knight. So first but foremost, we have the one that's going to be having a 10x, the one, the only, where is she? Shiramani. I think she's going to be really good on this one because it attacks 3 times at random, right? So when you're on the Fire Knight, it's always going to be the Fire Knight, right? It's not going to be anybody else. And it's 3 times with a 25% chance. The rest of her kit is great. Heals on the A2, right? And then A3, more freeze. So she's going to be pretty solid for this, I think, if not necessity. So if you have her, you're going to want to use her. Do I recommend pulling for her? No, because there is a lot of champs. There's even epics and rares that are going to be on this list that you're going to say, whoa, wait a second. Okay. So she's first. Next, we actually got him as a free champion a while ago. Alexander. We all thought that he was going to be useless. We haven't really used them. His kit didn't really scream out, you know, a lot of arena and whatnot like they wanted him to, but attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a freeze for 1 turn on the A1. So, you know, A2 brings decreased defense and weekend, and then the A3 removes all buffs from the target. So I think, you know, he's going to be another solid one too, and he also brings the accuracy in all battles. So then we have, we're going to come out of, actually, an honorable mention is going to be Tatura Rhymehide. Doesn't have it on his A1, A3, or A2, but his passive, whenever attacked, reflects 30% of the damage that this champion receives back to the attacker. Also has a 30% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn. If you build him in a Guardian set, right, you can build him really tanky. He'll bring the decreased accuracy, perfect veil shield, which is going to help you survive, especially because you're going to get your HP decreased every time he attacks. And then brings the increased defense and block debuffs. So I think he's going to be key as well. If you pair him with like Shiramani, you'll be golden if you got him. So then we're gonna come out of here, and one that I was quite surprised that I have actually fed a lot is Oathbound. Oathbound attacks 1 enemy, has a 20% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn, and the damage is inflicted proportional to defense. He is defense based, so you'll be able to, you know, keep him kind of tanky. Does bring a decreased attack on the A2. The blocked active skills doesn't really matter, but attacks 4 times at random. Each one has a 30% chance of placing a block debuffs. The 4 times at random can actually help you bring down that shield, right? Then we have, this is one that we actually get from the shop if you wait 100 days, your Carl. On the A1, attacks 2 enemies, has a 40% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn. Will ignore target's defense against targets that are under freeze. Also brings freeze on the A2 and on the A3. So I think your Carl is probably going to be better than Shiramani because he's got freeze on basically every ability. So if you have him, use him. If not, get him out of the shop. Let's see. Alexander, we already mentioned. Next one's actually going to be Glacia. She's got it on the A1. Attacks one enemy, has a 30% chance of placing a freeze, which means she will not be able to weak hit. Also places a debuff spread effect, taking one random debuff from the target, placing it on the enemies under freeze. We really don't care about that. Her A2 brings a weaken, and her A3 brings a block buff and another chance of placing a freeze. And then her passive, whenever an enemy tries to either put this champion skill on cooldown, places a freeze debuff on them. That enemy also has a 50% chance. Sorry guys, just been pumping a lot of videos out today, trying to get everything ready for vacation time. Also has a 50% chance of denying the cooldown increase effect. The freeze debuff cannot be blocked, resisted, will not deny cooldown increase effects from bosses. So basically, she'll always be able to place a freeze on her passive. It won't really help you with the boss, but, you know. Next, we have, from Forge Pass 1, if you got him, you love him, Whirling Frost King. On the A1, attacks one enemy, has a 30% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn. Places a perfect veil buff on the ally with the lowest HP for 2 turns if the freeze debuff is placed. Places a perfect veil buff on the ally with the lowest HP for 1 turn if the freeze debuff is not resisted. Or is blocked or resisted. A2 brings decreased crit damage, decreased accuracy, increases your crit damage. And then the A3 brings increased defense and increase and strengthen for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown, right? And then we have his aura, which doesn't really give us too much here. Next one is going to be another Void champion, which is going to be Tormund. Brings it on the A1, right? And then if you pair him with an HP burner, anytime somebody tries to take a turn with the A1, he'll automatically hit again with the A1. So, let's see, his passive here, where is it? Has a 20% chance, no, is it his A1? Instantly activates this skill whenever an enemy under both HP freeze and HP burn debuffs takes damage from HP burn buff. So if you bring him with like the Tunisia that they're going to do the 10x from, or a Mordecai or something else, you'll be able to basically keep HP, not HP burn, but freeze on the A1 from Torment on the boss at all times. The next one is actually a fusion that is available to us all the time. And he's an epic Bradma. Attacks one enemy, has a 35% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn. Books all the way up to a 45. He's good because he'll also bring the increased crit rate and the 15% increased speed. And then will also increase the turn meter of all allies by 15%. And if that wasn't enough, he will revive 2 allies with 25% HP and a block damage buff on him. So for 1 turn. And then his aura increases defense and faction crips. Next one we have, the next 3 are actually going to be all rares. And we have Courtier? Yeah, we'll go with that. On the A1, attacks one enemy, has a 25% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn. Not a big, you know, it's kind of in par with most of everybody else, a little bit less of a chance, but his A2 attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a chance of removing 1 random buff. And then his A3 can place, attacks all enemies 2 times has a 33% chance of placing a decreased speed for 2 turns. And this is the big boy decreased speed, so that can definitely be helpful, right? So you have a multi-hitter on the A2, and then decreased speed on the A3 on a 4-turn cooldown with a freeze on the A1. The next one is going to be no one other than, where is he? Rotting Mage. Attacks 1 enemy, has a 25% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn. A2 gives you the weak source increased defense and weak source increased attack on a 3-turn cooldown. And then on the A3, attacks 1 enemy, has a 75% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. So he's not going to be the best, but he's going to be an option for you. And then his speed aura is 13% Infraction grips. And the last one, there should be no reason why no one has him, or her, I should say. But you've probably fed her, I don't know, a couple of 100 times. And it's no one else but War Priest. She has attacks 1 enemy, has a 15% chance, books up to 25% of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn. And then heals an ally by 20% of their max HP, heals all allies except the target ally by 10% of their max HP, of the target's max HP. And then the A3 just brings in a weak source increased attack on 3-turn cooldown. So, yeah, I don't know if I forgot anybody. I thought I did a pretty decent decent shot of going through this. I don't know if there's anybody. I mean, Frostbringer doesn't bring it, right? So she'll never be used there. You know, hey Plarium, just saying, give her Frost or Freeze debuff on the A1, then she can earn her name. Just saying. Other than that, I don't feel like there was anybody else that I missed. I'm pretty sure I got everybody. If I did miss somebody, let me know down in the comments below, guys. Again, this list was basically for anybody that was on the A1. And then the one last thing I wanted to mention is you will be able to use Frostbite. I feel you should be able to use Frostbite. 15% chance to block freeze debuff, 10% chance to place a freeze debuff on the attacker. So maybe if you stack this with like your Carl or your Shiramani, it will be worth it. I guess now we have a reason to farm Frostbiter, at least in the end game, to kind of give us the increased chances of doing this. So that's another shout out, is to make sure that, you know, next rotation you farm it. So guys, I hope this was helpful. If it was, give me a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. I try to put out as much content as I can daily, usually 1 to 2 videos. And if you have a particular content that you want to see in game or a question or something, feel free to DM me. I'm always up for good ideas. I will be again gone this week on vacation, so this is a pre-recorded video, unfortunately. But as always, guys, be safe, be well, be good to each other, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.